Hello everybody and welcome to the video. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Mario.
Or Mars, or Marzipan, or Marsupial, or Marsbar.
Yep.
And right now you're going to join me as Mario teaches me how to use an airbrush.
Awesome.
Alright, so what do we need to airbrush?
Well, Aaron, today a really great starter kit we're going to be using is this Sparmax Arism airbrush set with compressor and cleaning pot, along with some masking tape.
Yeah, sweet. Everything looks really cool.
Yeah. I like to consider the impact on others, including humans, animals. Smell and overspray can impact others that are in close proximity of where you're airbrushing. So that's something to really consider. Suitable respirators are a must. That's a particular one there, or suitable mask that's specific to what paint you're painting.
Yep. And you want to be somewhere like with a lot of airflow, good ventilation as well.
100%. Yeah, it's definitely good airflow. And I'm always mindful where my cat is, because every time I'm airbrushing, my cat always wants to see what I'm doing.
Yeah, I feel like they might get a bit angry at the sound that thing makes.
Yeah. And so, and also family members, just keep that in mind.
Yeah, great advice.
Yeah. So, AA, what do you want to paint today?
I want to do this Protoform Dodge Dart
Nice.
touring car VTA body.
Nice.
Hamish actually has a video on our channel of how to paint a polycarbonate body, so how to prep one, washing it, cleaning it, getting it all ready for the paint, because even if you're just using rattle cans or airbrush, the preparation step is the same.
100%.
It's always the same. So go and have a watch of that video. I'll put a link in the description and up there. What paint are we using?
Well, Aaron, you're going to be using the Vallejo Premium Airbrush Colour Paint.
Cool. What makes that different from other paints, or like compatible with Lexan?
Okay, Premium has been formulated with permanent pigments and a new extremely resistant hybrid resin of acrylic polyurethane for optimum adherence on surfaces such as fiberglass, polyethylene, polycarbonate, metal and Lexan. In your case, it's going to be polycarbonate. Yep.
That's amazing. I can't believe you just remembered that all off the top of your head. That wasn't scripted at all. Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's actually that's actually what really intrigued me, is that you're not set in whatever colour is available in the rattle can. You can mix things up and have an entirely one-off colour that, you know, it'll only be that one. Yeah. It's a one-off. I really like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I do too. It's awesome paints.
So how do airbrushes work?
Well, quite simply, they work based on a principle called atomization, where the liquid paint is broken down into fine particles or droplets, which are then propelled onto a surface.
So it's like instant spray paint maker.
Yeah, that's a simple explanation.
Yeah, cool, man. So the compressor can do, it's got a little dial on the front for different PSI or different pressure ratings. What do we set it to for something like this?
With these paints, you know, they're already airbrush ready, so you can anywhere from 15, 20 PSI, no problem.
So is that just when you turn it on? Or is that when you're holding down?
When you hold the air, just the air alone, and you set your pressure.
Okay, cool. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Anything else, like atmospheric conditions, planetary alignment? What if the planet Mercury is in Gatorade?
Good question. Generally, you want to avoid weather which is either too hot or humid. In my experience, depending on the paint being used, ideal temperature, approximately 15 to 27 degrees, even 30 degrees I've actually sprayed in, but
because that affects how quickly it dries, right?
Correct.
Yeah, cool.
And so, you just want to pick your day. You don't want to be spraying on a 40-degree day, that's for sure.
I don't want to do anything on a 40-degree day.
No. Cool. No.
So this is a dual action airbrush. How do we use it, and what makes it better? What's dual action versus single action?
Yeah, well, with the dual action, dual action airbrush works by pressing down on the trigger, so you press down, and that releases the air. Okay. And then as you've got to push down, you then draw it back. As you draw it back, simultaneously, you get the paint will start to flow. Yeah. So in other words, the further you pull it back, the more paint's going to come through. Right. Yeah.
And so the single action, it's just on or off.
Yeah, you get paint. Yeah, single action is correct. But with the double action, it allows you to release the air and pull back.
So you can have just the tiniest bit coming out, or big sweeping coverage.
Some airbrushes do have a chuck adjustment. You can actually pull that in so your trigger only comes back a tiny bit. So you've got
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, depending on the...
But I'm just running free with this.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm sure everything's going to work out just fine.
Yeah.
All right. So anything else before I make a mess of this thing? Hopefully not. How do you clean up and how do you get better at airbrushing?
Well, good question. Well, those two things are completely linked, actually. So to get better, you've got to practice. And to practice, you need your airbrush to work really well. And so you need to keep it clean.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. How do you do that with this thing?
Okay, so if say that was full of paint or halfway up with paint, and you've obviously done you've sprayed your job, you've got paint left over, you obviously pour the unused paint back into your canister.
Yep.
Providing that it's not actually thinned out or any airflow improvement in it.
Yep. So if it's the same as when you put it in.
Yeah. Correct. And then just simply, what I do is I just use a bit of paper towel and I just scoop out what I can, and then I'll set it back in there into the pot, which is great. These cleaning pots are awesome. Then I'd put in some airbrush cleaner into the pot and just 2 or 3 go, just flush it through.
Yep.
And that'll then basically
But just like
cleans it out.
Flushes it out.
Yeah.
And you just go until it's clear.
Yeah, correct, till it's clear. And I also have a little bit of raw detergent in another little container mixed up, and I'll flush that through quite a few times. And then the final rinse will be just under some warm hot water detergent. When you finish your airbrush project, it's a great idea to actually pull your airbrush down completely and clean all its components out thoroughly. And that way it's going to ensure long-term reliability with your airbrush.
Right, and I guess just check the instructions for how they all come apart and go back together.
Yeah, correct.
All right, I think I've got the theoretical knowledge of how to put paint on a thing. So I'm going to go attempt this and we'll reconvene and see what I've done. So wish me luck.
Yes, good luck. And I'll see you
in the future.
Yeah.
So, with Mario's wisdom freshly echoing around my head, it's time to try my first ever airbrushing job. Masking the bumpers, bonnet and boot is exactly the same as if we were using rattle cans. Once you've masked off exactly where you need to mask off, you can cover up the rest of the body with paper and some thicker masking tape. Fire up the compressor and set the pressure to about 15 to 20 psi. To avoid paint spotting, give it a quick blast of air just to clear it out before you actually start spraying. I'm just going to practice super quick on this first. So, dual action. Push for air, then pull back for paint. The more you pull back, the more paint comes out. The spray distance matters too. Too close and it'll just run, and too far away and you'll need 100 coats for coverage. Match spray distance with how far you've pulled back the trigger and you should get a nice, smooth, even coat. Dark colours and outer details first, so bonnet and bumpers before the red main body colour. But first, bonnet and boot in black. Same as if we're using a rattle can, we're going to do a light dust coat first. This helps the next couple of coats stick to the body better. Then, we're going to do the bumpers silver. Now we can take off the majority of the masking, leaving only the factory window masks, because it's time to paint the main body red. Just like using a spray can, start spraying, move across the surface, and then stop spraying. With all the main paint dry, it's time to take off the window masks. Don't forget to remove the protective film. We're using a part of this Garage Paris stencil from Vallejo, but masking off the Paris part because this is a dodge. And because we are absolute maverick rebels who break rules for fun, we're going to be painting on the outside of this body shell. Why? I think it'll look cool, like a real old muscle car has been bought by a garage and they added their logo to the side. Mario thinks it's a terrible idea, so we'll find out if I survive. This will be more prone to scratches, but that itself will look cool too. So if you do this as well, remember the paint won't be glossy unless you put a gloss clear coat over it. And also remember to peel off the protective film, otherwise you'll just be stenciling onto something that's going to be immediately taken off. Definitely not speaking from experience here. Ideally, increase the spray distance. You don't want the air getting under the stencil and lifting it away from the body. With the shell painted and stickered, it's now time to see how badly I've offended Mario's artistic sensibilities. Alright, reveal?
Yeah,
Reveal?
let's have a look at it.
Da-da-da-da.
Ah, that's come up really well. Awesome.
How good is the red?
Excellent. Yep, that is.
That's a unique colour right there.
Can I have a closer
Go
look?
for it, mate,
I'll
go for it.
inspect your work. Wow. That has
The black covered really, really well.
yeah. Lines are nice
the-
and sharp. Yeah.
The red covered like really well as well. I was particularly surprised by the silver because a lot of the time silver remains quite transparent, but that it covered really, really, really well.
My only question. Aaron, what have you done here?
I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, look, I know that it goes against every fibre of your being, but on the outside, the whole idea is we're going to take it to the track. We are going to drive this. It's not a shelf queen. It's a race car.
Okay.
So it is going to get damaged. It is going to get scuffed up. And I thought it would look cool if at some point it got sideswiped and you get these cool streaks down the side. So it's...
You want the outside bit scratched.
Yeah, that actually is the idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we will be revisiting this car. I'm going to drive it for a bit and accidentally on purpose cause a bit of damage because we're going to do some more scale stuff in the future.
No, it looks great.
So yeah, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, experience and everything, getting me started
A pleasure.
with airbrushing. It was a lot of fun. That's the other thing. It's not just like the end result and the how you do it. It's fun. Airbrushing is fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much, man.
A pleasure.
Yeah, and thank you to you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Cheers. Bye.
Okay, bye.
For everyone still watching, let's close this off by taking a look at some of Mario's airbrushing masterpieces.